important study is taking place on vaccine effectiveness, including against those new COVID variants.
Variants are already circulating in the population in Arizona. We know that they're there. They're likely going to continue to increase in terms of the percentage of all infections because they're more easily transmitted.
Dr. Burgess leads a research study on COVID-19 vaccine effectiveness. He says right now they need time to figure out how it will do against the variants.
That's something that is part of our study, and we will have information on that. It's just too early of a point now so far to tell.
For now, though, Burgess says everyone who can should get the vaccine. For Alan, that means one step closer to normal.
So I'm looking for a more normal life at this point. And as I said, it's not going to be immediately, but there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Greg Bradbury, KGUN 9 on your side.
Senator Mark Kelly in Tucson today helping the Mobile Meals program. Kelly spoke to KGUN 9 saying he's urging the government to allocate extra vaccine for Arizona because so many snowbirds spend the winter in our state.
Senator Sinema and I requested more vaccine doses, another 300,000 doses for our state, because as we all know, in the winter months, we have a bigger population here than statistics reflects, right? 7.5 million people in Arizona. Well, that number goes up significantly in the winter. We've got to get everybody vaccinated. So we requested some more doses of the vaccine.
Kelly says he thinks those reluctant to get the vaccine will change their minds as they see others receive the vaccine with no harsh side effects.
Banner Health says that COVID cases are trending downward in Arizona, but there's still a long way to go. They expect our decline from this surge will take longer than the decline from last summer's surge. The organization says it has vaccinated over 200,000 people, but winter storms across the country are delaying deliveries. Because of that, those who have vaccination appointments with any Pima County site may have to reschedule. That includes Banner, Tucson Convention Center, and Tucson Medical Center. The winter weather also affecting Santa Cruz County's vaccination efforts. The county expected to administer around 1,800 second doses this week, but that is now delayed. A health official with the county tells us what vaccine they do get is being used immediately.
It could be a 375 number, or it could be a 604. Some people may be calling from a cell phone. So if you do not recognize it, please answer it. Because we will leave a message and try to get back to us ASAP, so that way we don't reschedule somebody else into your appointment.
Both Santa Cruz and Pima County say if your appointment has been rescheduled, they'll call to let you know and set up a new time.
Those winter storms causing massive problems across the country. Millions are without power in Texas, and officials say it could be days before it's back. Roofs collapsing, pipes freezing and bursting, and icicles hanging from ceiling fans. Oklahoma City recorded its coldest temperature in more than a century yesterday, negative 14 degrees. And in some parts of Utah, 60 inches of snow fell in just a 48-hour period. And now another storm is expected to hit the Midwest and the South. And let's bring in Kyler Diggs. You know, we can complain just a little bit about the wind and the cold temperatures, but we have nothing on Texas and the Deep South right now.
It's just mind-boggling. Yeah. It's just staggering what's going on there, and it will take a while to recover from this. And we had our own dose of winter weather, kind of southern Arizona style. Today we caught the back edge of a storm system passing off to the northeast of us. Did see a few light showers over southern Cochise County, but now all of that activity moving off to the east. Looks like we'll see clear skies tonight, but that system also brought a lot of wind. Right now the wind has settled down. Most of us seeing wind speeds below 10 miles an hour, but we did see some wind gusts up over 30 and 40 miles an hour earlier today, and high temperatures 64 in Tucson. But look at this contrast, 34 in Show Low, 70 in Yuma. We've got some warmer air on the way. We'll let you know when it arrives.
All right, Kyler, thank you. Although we were lucky enough to avoid the winter weather, southern Arizona likely won't avoid the impact on gas prices. GasBuddy reports a 15-cent increase in those prices from last month to an average of over $2.50 a gallon. An oil industry analyst told NBC News oil production could be reduced by as much as 1 million barrels a day due to the weather, and natural gas production could be cut by 50%.
And because of that, Southwest Gas is asking customers to conserve resources. They say that shortages are not anticipated in Arizona, but conservation helps maintain the interstate pipeline system. Southwest Gas says customers can help by setting the thermostat to between 65 and 68 degrees.
New bills in the Arizona House could change what you do in future elections.
It's a controversial topic garnering national attention after the break. A look at what exactly these bills do and why critics are calling foul. You're watching KGUN9 on your side. A major battle in Phoenix today. Republican lawmakers in the House pushing forward more than a dozen new bills aimed at curbing claims of voter fraud.
The move is gaining national attention. Democrats in Arizona's House say this is all because former President Trump lost the state in 2020. Reporter Nicole Valdez has the latest from Phoenix.
Different day, same fight. Republicans trying to pass laws that would criminalize election officials for doing what they're required to do to preserve election integrity. Meanwhile, Democrats fire back, calling this an effort to limit voting, saying Republicans are just creating obstacles because President Trump lost Arizona in 2020. Today, two measures moving forward that could change what you do in future elections.
Committee to order.
Inside the House of Representatives, Republicans had the votes to push forward some major changes to what is and isn't allowed to happen in our state's election. A majority taking aim at some of 2020's biggest issues and rumors, from making it illegal to change deadlines or register voters on Election Day, to forcing voting rights groups who get out the vote to specify and label the forms they turn in to get people registered.
But this bill is clearly and explicitly tailored against people who are fraudulently registering voters.
I think this is a great opportunity to just be honest about what exactly is happening here. Amidst all these different attacks on our right to vote, this is a very clear attack on the voter registration groups that have come together since SB 1070 to completely change the state of Arizona for the better by bringing hundreds of thousands of new voters of color to the table.
But Republican leaders like House Elections Committee Chairman John Kavanaugh quick to shoot down critics who say these changes are all fueled by President Trump's loss.
It's not a matter of being a poor sport. It's a matter of winning or losing fairly. And if there's fraud going on, if machines can be tampered, if people can get hold of ballots and fill them in for other people falsely, then that's fraud.
Despite no proof that fraud of any kind ever happened.
What we're seeing is when an election doesn't go a certain way, there's now a movement to start criminalizing the processes of the election.
Wednesday, the House also greenlighting a bill to keep counties from sending out early ballots to voters who didn't ask for them. A judge already ruling they can't do that, but if this bill moves forward, election officials could face felony charges. That didn't happen in 2020, even though the former Maricopa County recorder said he wanted to do so due to COVID-19. But others quick to point out this bill would mean disabled voters and voters in jail would be kept from voting.
This bill is a mess, and it is part of a pile of bills that we're seeing that are seeking to make voting more difficult and apply these felony penalties to people who are participating and doing their jobs.
Those couldn't be further from the truth. Violating the law is not lawful participation in our elections. Willfully violating the law, knowingly violating the law, and sending ballots to voters that did not request a mail-in ballot is not our election system.
And today's vote on party lines, Republicans do outnumber Democrats in the House. So today, Republicans won the fight. And we could see the same trend tomorrow as the House Elections Committee looks at another handful of bills aimed at changes and restrictions to election laws. But whether those will get to the governor's desk is yet to be seen. Nicole Valdez, ABC 15, Arizona.
Conservative talk radio host Rush Limbaugh has died. He had been battling stage 4 lung cancer since February of last year. The day after his cancer announcement, former President Trump awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Limbaugh began his nationally syndicated conservative political radio show back in 1988, garnering millions of loyal listeners. Limbaugh was 70 years old.
Yeah, no doubt a void for many people. All right, let's bring back Kyler Diggs. Another cool and gusty day out there, but it looks like we're in a treat for the weekend.
Yeah, things are going to start to warm up around here, and those temperatures on the high end and the low end were a bit below average today, but we will change that just in time for your weekend forecast, which we'll share with you next on KGUN 9 on your side.
Nearly 2 years after a devastating fire tore through Paris's iconic Notre Dame Cathedral, ABC News was given unprecedented access inside.
A ground-level look at the project shows the intricate process being used to restore the centuries-old church. ABC's Zareen Shaw has the story.
It's a rare look inside the massive restoration project behind one of the world's most treasured cathedrals. It was back in April of 2019 when a fire brought down most of the roof of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. The church's spire also giving way to the intensity of the fire. Now archaeologist Dorothy Chaoui-Delarue is meticulously piecing together the roof and tells ABC's James Longman, who was there, the team is getting major help from the United States.
Oh, so an American architect did a plan of Notre Dame, and that's the one you're using? Oh, wow. Heading up to the roof, which of course is where all this began.
10 years ago, art historian Andrew Tallon sketched the vaulted ceilings of the cathedral. His drawings are vital to the reconstruction since the original plans were lost. Tallon died in 2018.
There are now anywhere between 150 to 200 people working on Notre Dame at any one time, slowed down, of course, by the pandemic.
The famed rose-stained glass windows remained intact, and the church's organ was not touched in the fire. One of the cathedral's most treasured relics narrowly made it out, the crown of thorns.
Well, it was here in the sacristy, where towards the back of the church here, behind that wall, that is where the fire was raging. And on that night, a very brave church official came here to take it with him and to get out of the church.
The hope is to bring all the cathedral's artifacts back once the restoration is finished. Architects say the goal is to have the roof fixed before Paris holds the Olympics in just 2024. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And Catholics in the Old Pueblo celebrating Ash Wednesday Mass at St. Augustine Cathedral in downtown. The congregation was limited, but the cathedral live streamed its services on their Facebook page. Ash Wednesday marks the first day of Lent. During Lent, which ends on Easter Sunday, Catholics are called to fast, practice good deeds, and help those in need.
And in Vatican City, Pope Francis also celebrating with a Mass at St. Peter's Basilica, and only 100 people were attending because of COVID, and instead of rubbing ashes on the forehead and the sign of the cross, the Vatican urged priests to sprinkle it on the crown of their head.
Now, K-Gun 9 on your side. First warning weather.
Well, it was a chilly, windy Ash Wednesday across southern Arizona, and currently it's pretty chilly too. 49 degrees right now in Tucson, 39 in Oracle, and 37 degrees in Wilcox, and it is very dry too. 7 degrees on the dew point with only 18% humidity, so those temperatures will drop pretty rapidly through the night. There's the moon right now, if you could see. Right under here would be the Tucson Mountains. So we're looking at mostly clear skies overnight tonight, temperatures dropping into the 30s, and by daybreak we will be close to freezing. No hard freeze or anything like that in Tucson, but definitely take the precautions with the pipes, the plants, the pets, and the people. And it is cold in Window Rock, 11 degrees, 19 degrees in Flagstaff, but we're still seeing some 50s and 60s in the lower elevations. Here's a snapshot of the high temperatures across the nation today, where we did see a little bit of improvement, especially in places like New Orleans and Atlanta. But there's the 24-hour temperature change, and we did bring those temperatures up a little bit, albeit though it's still very cold and temperatures still running way below average, but at least we got a little improvement. And then out west, that's where we saw a cool down in behind another system that is now passing off to the east. But the bad news for the folks in the southeast and now the mid-Atlantic coast and eventually the northeast is there's another storm headed